Goo, we got to start with the San Francisco 49ers.
Best team in football, Steiny.
4-0 right now after a 35-16 win over the Arizona Cardinals. And now they get Dallas in here next Sunday night. But let's talk a little bit about that Cardinals game. What are your impressions right now of the San Francisco 49ers?
You know what? This is stale because you know I love my analogies, and I've used point guard about Brock Purdy and how perfect of a fit he is in this offense. And I'm listening to the guys today, Bonte and Shasky, the callers, Steiny. I've referred to Brock Purdy as John Stockton. You can erase that. No shade at you, John. Magic Johnson, Steph Curry. He is perfect. He knows what he's doing, and he's bringing something to the table. And you know what? I turned that game off and I said, the Niner defense, which has been a staple under Kyle, Steiny, they could be a notch 2-3 times lesser than what they've been, but this offense is 3 or 4 times greater than it's ever been. And right now, that's just a recipe for success. And we saw it yesterday. Again, 30 points, touchdown on the opening drive. I don't know what to say, and I don't know how to judge Brock Purdy other than he's playing his ass off.
I mean, he's been terrific.
Okay.
He was great again yesterday. I'm going to play a little Guru here because I can tell Guru's sky high right now on the San Francisco 49ers. 21-16 heading into the fourth quarter. 2 90-yard drives from the Arizona Cardinals. 2 90-plus yard drives.
Okay, so I'm nitpicking here, but I did say, oh, my gosh, this is not the Ram game where they held the ball longer than the Niners. They went 99 yards. Shout out to Dobbs and everything going on with the Cardinals. They are not as bad as we thought. And that was respect. That was the Rodney Dangerfield game for the Arizona Cardinals. But we're not in Arizona. You're asking about the Niner game, 21-16. I said, oh, my gosh. But guess what happened? I'm not going to go Montana to Rice, but Purdy to Ayuk is a real thing. 25 yards, 35 yards, 40, Steiny, wop, wop. Right when they get the ball, and they're making a connection that is greater than any Wi-Fi at any locale right now. Ayuk and Purdy are the real deal. The defense, Steiny, my eyebrow was raised a little bit, like 99 yards. Oh, my gosh. But at the end of the day, the Niners have a connection with Ayuk and Purdy. Steiny, I'm starting to put it top 3, top 2 in the league right now.
888-957-9570 is the number. You know it. 49ers 35, Cardinals 16. Christian McCaffrey, just an incredible day. 4 touchdowns.
Damn.
And it just can do just about anything on the football field. I mean, the guy is he's a football player. That's what he is. He's a football player. He can do it all.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey had 175 total yards, approximately, had over 100 rushing, 71 receiving. So he's got it all. He had it all going on yesterday. And, here's the other thing about the 49ers.
Give it to me.
They're not going to lose more than 1 or 2 games if they continue to not turn the ball over. They have 1 turnover in 4 games.
Yeah.
1. And it was a fumble by Brock Purdy against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. They haven't turned it over the last 3 weeks. They're going to be tough to beat unless you can turn them over. And so far, they've protected the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. And what about this? This has been a staple, Steiny. Whenever they do get their opening possession, they take it down. Not get a field goal, they get a touchdown. And they stopped Arizona, and then they just drive the ball down the field. Right now, 4-0. We talked about it, Operation Home Field for this team. And I'm going to go Bonte on you because he ended their show telling Shasky, if Kyle can't win it now, and I know you're going to tell me slow my jets, it's almost like win, Steiny. If you look at the landscape, it's 4 weeks in. I get it. But right now, they are pitching a perfect game.
So are the Eagles.
Okay. Now,
so
with that,
Eagles.
You are right. But if you watch the game, Washington had action to win that
Philly's
game. And I know it's a division game, like you always point out. You are right. They're undefeated. But damn, Steiny, the Niners are Mike Tyson right now in his prime.
Okay.
With the black shorts and the part and the perm.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are terrible. They're terrible. The Cardinals are okay. They're plucky.
Okay.
Who else did
the Rams, which was a game in the fourth quarter. So I got,
And then who else last week?
Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah.
Do we have a team?
Purdy through to where it could have been picked, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
No, listen, you can only play the teams you play. But,
there you go.
I'm reserving judgment till after. And they're good. Obviously, one of the best teams in the league. But let's see what happens when they play Dallas. Not that they can't beat Dallas, or not that they will not beat Dallas. But I got to see more than a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 2-2.
Go ahead.
And minus 38.
Nice.
Cumulative points in 4 games. So they average losing a game by 10 a game. They're already minus 40. Who else we got? The Giants. The New York Giants.
They play tonight, Seattle.
They're 1-2.
Okay.
They've scored 43 points and given up 98. They're
Yikes.
minus 55.
Yikes.
The Rams, and some people might say one of the reasons they're minus 55 is because they got beat by the 49ers.
Big win yesterday in OT.
The Rams are 2-2. That's probably the best team that the San Francisco 49ers played. And then lastly was the Cardinals. They're now 1-3. So, look, a lot changes with their schedule right now. And I'm not saying that the 49ers aren't the best team in football right now. I'm not saying they don't look scary. They look all of those things, no doubt about it. But they got the Cowboys.
Yep.
Then they got the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. To me, the next 4 games are going to be against tougher teams than the first 4 games, essentially. So we'll have a chance to measure them against some better competition. And when we see what happens there, I think we'll be able to be more conclusive about where they're going. And by that point, it'll be halfway through the season. So, I mean, nobody can deny it's been a great start for the Niners, but just because they've looked more impressive than, let's say, Philly or Buffalo, it doesn't mean they're a better team than them. It means they're better than them right now, but they still have to be better than these teams at the end of the season, obviously.
You know what? I'm not mad, and I'm not going to scoff at anything you said because you stated facts. But, Matt Steinmetz, this starts, if you let me go bigger picture, this starts to last year for me. I felt like I knew who the Niners were coming into this season. So it's bigger to me than just the 4-0 and who they played. You are right. Anything can happen on any given play. But at the end of the day, the way that season ended last year, obviously it did not sit well with the Niner players. Basically just getting the opportunity to knock off Philly, losing their starting quarterback in the first quarter. With that said, you just said something that struck me. When you say you need to see more, I get that. Steiny, I'm asking you to put your cards on the table. Is there one person on the team you need to see more than other? Is there a unit? Because this Brock Purdy thing, I've seen enough. And I don't know what adjective. I'm not going to get caught up in it. But if you can name me 5 quarterbacks right now that are currently running their offense better than this dude.
I don't want to.
Okay, we don't have to do that. But that goes to my point. Like, Brock Purdy is running this thing like Mario Andretti in his fastest car. Right. Like, this is perfect right now. Yeah. And I don't think we're going to see regression or slippage, barring injury.
Well, we'll see.
All right?
We're only 4 games into the season.
No doubt about it.
49, it's still the start of the season, essentially. We're not even a quarter of the way in.
But you won't give me last year what this team was last year.
But I'm also not going to start saying order the Super Bowl rings. It's a long season. You want to call them the best team at football right now? Call them the best team at football right now, and I'll say, well, who cares? They're in week 4. They've looked better than any other team. If you're a 49er fan, you should be sky high.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it, but it's still early in the season. The Golden State Warriors started 24-0 one year. Did they win it all? No, they didn't win it all. Nobody thought they weren't going to win it all that year.
Went there.
So you never know. You never know what can happen. And in football, injuries every single week. So you just got to keep. Keep winning and try to get that home field advantage, because one loss right now puts you in the in the number 2 spot, assuming Philadelphia would win next week's game.
Yeah.
Let's go to Reggie. Reggie's in Vallejo. What's going on, Reggie? I can't get Reggie on myself, though. What's up, Reggie?
What's up with y'all, man? I'm listening to y'all every day, man.
Thank you.
Hey.
But Steiny, I respect your mind. And quit letting Steiny change your mind, man.
When did he do that? Because I'm sitting there telling you the Niners are a factor. When did he do that? Break that down for us.
Every time you say something, you got to switch up what you about to say, man. Let it out. CMC for MVP, baby. And Goo Purdy got a connection with everybody, not just Ayuk. They said it with Kittle. He dished that ball out, man.
Okay, listen. He's got a connection with everybody because he's running the offense. What did I say? Magic, John Stockton. But don't you dare tell me right now the connection with Ayuk is greater than any other wideout or tight end. That's a fact, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I respect that.
See, I changed your mind.
Where did you get that red blue shirt from the other day, man? I need that.
Oh, yeah, my Gordon Cottrell. I'll get it out to you.
Thanks a lot, Reggie. Appreciate the call. The funny thing is I come in this morning, I was talking to Nahigian, the boss, and he's like, what do you think's going on with Debo and Kittle? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, they didn't do much yesterday. And it's like, this is like the Warriors again. You can't have Steph score 30, Clay score 28, Draymond score 18, Durant score 33, and Jordan Poole score 30. It doesn't work. They're not going to score 60 points a game. And so this is the way it's going to be. It's going to be, what did Kittle do last week when Ayuk was out? He stepped up. Deebo Samuel, I don't get the sense he was 100% yesterday.
There's no doubt he wasn't.
So they didn't use him. They didn't target him one time. Purdy didn't throw to him one time, and he only had 3 carries. And they still win the game by 19 points.
But they have no eye guys, Donnie. That's a right on the table brought to you by Atco. The Niners don't have those type of guys that I talked about before the season started, like the distribution of the targets. And obviously, Debo yesterday was an example. He could have said, you know what, I'm not going, but he didn't. And they don't care about that stuff, man. I just get it. The feel from this team is Operation Home Field Advantage. We talked about the last 2 years. What happened? The Niners tripped up early, and they didn't get off to the best start. Now, 25% into the season, they're 4-0. And they're number 1 on my power rankings. And another rat early, they're probably number 1 on everybody's power rankings. And you say, Goo, that might not mean anything, but the fact of the matter is they're one of 2 undefeated teams.
Rudy in Riverside. What's going on, Rudy? How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Doing well.
How you doing, fellas?
Doing well.
Wonderful show. Great show, guys. Like I told you guys before, I run a Ram Sports Channel, the Romelia Sports Report. And I got to tip my cap. I joke around that we call the Niners the regular season empire, like you guys were saying. They got to win the big one. Now, they're doing what they should do. They're going to run through their schedule. They're looking great. They're winning games against teams that aren't as good as them. The Rams with 14 rookies gave them everything they wanted. The Steelers without a QB. The Giants without Barkley. Arizona Cardinals without D-Hop and Murray. Wonderful. I clap my hands for them, but they got to get all the way through and win it. Now, this thing about the home field advantage, listen, the Niner fans travel amazing. They go out to other stadiums. So is that really an advantage? I mean, do you want a team like the Eagles in wonderful conditions in Southern California without any issues with the weather to come out there and do what they did again? So that might not even be a difference maker. It's going to be a wonderful season, and thank the big Ram in the sky for giving us Puka Nacua while Cooper Kupp is sitting out.
Oh, you're a Rams fan.
The Lambs.
Yes, I got you. You're a Rams fan. Okay.
Well, they got to make the playoffs first, buddy.
Great show, guys.
Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate the call, Rudy. Appreciate the call. Well, to me, it's travel, too. You don't have to travel. It's not just having to play in an opposing stadium. It means you won't have to cross the country to play the Eagles again like you did last year. You'd obviously rather be at home, and that's one of the reasons the 49ers, I think, have put such an emphasis on the start of the season. Because the last 2 years, the season start kind of bit them at the end of the year. And
those 2 games were played on the road.
Exactly.
2 years ago in L.A., lost, and then last year in Philly.
The other thing about to me about the Niners is when you have a guy like McCaffrey, when they had Elijah Mitchell, they relied more on Deebo Samuel and Kittle and even Ayuk. But the reality of the situation is that when you have McCaffrey, you don't have to rely on Deebo Samuel and George Kittle nearly as much because he's occupying most of the touches. Like was it yesterday again? I don't have. Okay.
When he made big throws, Steiny, it went to number 11.
20, so he had 20 carries and 7 receptions. That's 27. That's 27 touches for McCaffrey. Let's do this. 6, 8, 10, 11. Ayuk is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So basically, McCaffrey had 27 touches on offense, and everybody else had 24. So that, to me, shows you that listen, McCaffrey's the foundation of this offense. And if they can use him as much as they've been using him, and he's as efficient and effective, I mean, they're not going to have to use Ayuk and Deebo a lot. They're just going to have to use them when they need them during those times where McCaffrey either doesn't touch the ball, or the times when McCaffrey's not playing.
Right, and that's why, to me, this offense is an embarrassment of riches. You come out, you're up 5, you get the ball, he throws a 25-yard rope to Ayuk. It's 21-10. He finds Ayuk down the field. They just got so much at their disposal for any situation that comes up. And right now, you're right. It looks like McCaffrey, 4 games. I'm not going to say MVP, but tell me another player individually who's playing better and a team that depends on him as much as the Niners. But this is not a one-trick pony to where, Steiny, if you had to pass or you had to get into a gun battle, Purdy, I got confidence now he can make the throws, and he's doing it, and he's hitting Ayuk. Last week it was Deebo. It's incredible, man. It really is. And there'll be a game where it'll be Kittle. There'll be a game where it'll be Jawan Jennings, Ronnie Bell. All those guys that I've mentioned have caught touchdowns at different junctures. So it starts with McCaffrey, but good God, if they got to do something else and go up top, Brandon Ayuk has been special as well.
888-957-9570 is the number. Steiny Guru live from Chase Center in San Francisco. It's Warriors Media Day.
Bam.
Warriors Media Day today as their season starts to get underway, and we'll have a lot of Warrior guests over the course of the show. It's going to be Warriors, and then it's going to be 49ers. Mike Dunleavy Jr. will be here. Rudy Gay is going to pop in. Corey Joseph, Dario Saric, and we're going to hear from some people we haven't heard from yet. The newer type of Golden State Warriors. So we'll keep it real with them as they come in. We may have to kind of work on the fly, but that's all right because we're going to have some good Warrior guests. Draymond Green sprained his ankle.
Oh, man.
Or we learned of it over the weekend. He talked to Raymond Ritter just a minute ago. He said Draymond will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. They'll take another look at it and see where he's at. But initial projections are 3 to 6 weeks. And he's suffered it about a week ago. So it's going to put him right in a limbo type position for the opener.
So if he wasn't available,
Chris Paul,
the opener, because we talked about this all last week, I assume from my couch that Chris Paul would get that starting nod. But I'm starting to think about it more and more. Could that be Jonathan Kuminga, or could you see a scenario to where Draymond is unavailable and Chris Paul still doesn't start? Like, to me, that's not even on the board.
I'd be surprised. I think this maybe takes. I think what we could be looking at right now is Draymond Green not ready for the start of the season. So that means maybe when he comes back, he'll come off the bench first. That, to me, seems like it's very possible, especially because if you look at where Draymond is right now, there's something about, okay, he just got paid.
Man.
He's under contract for 4 more years. Maybe he's going to try to do the right thing. If he's not ready, he'll say he comes off the bench. That would not surprise me.
Now, what do you mean the right thing?
The right thing would be to be the guy who says, you know what, I'll come off the bench. I did it last year against Sacramento. I'll do it this year if it makes everybody else happy and if it makes us a better team. Maybe it does. I mean, they got to figure out a way to get Kuminga going. And it's tough to do it when Draymond's playing 30 minutes a night. So that's where we're at with the Golden State Warriors. They have their first preseason game on Saturday against the Lakers. But again, Brock Purdy and the Niners, they win their 4th in a row. They're 4-0. Brock Purdy, 20 for 21. 283 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. This team does not turn the ball over. And if they don't turn the ball over, it's tough to see them getting beat, to tell you the truth. And I'm watching the Cowboys yesterday a little bit, and their defense is pretty good. Their defense is pretty good. And so next week you look at that game and you wonder, can the Cowboys kind of do what they've been doing this year, and can they force some turnovers from the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah, but if you get them, Steiny, Dallas's Achilles heel thus far has been the red zone. You got to be buttoned up to beat this Niner team on all fronts. And if that's hurting you, and if they were to get those turnovers, do you get 3 or do you get 6? And right now, thus far through 4 games, they've been settling for 3, just a little too much.
Any 49er fans out there a little concerned about the 2 long drives by the Arizona Cardinals? They had 2 drives over 90 yards. One of them was 99 yards. Man. They had a 99-yard drive against the Niners. And honestly, I didn't know that a team could do that against the Niners. Go 99 yards against that defense. So that was impressive. And that's where I think you figure out how much credit you give the Cardinals and how much concern you give the San Francisco 49ers. But 35-16, they covered like they have all season long. And the only thing I saw were those 2 long drives. Other than that, the 49ers are rolling right now.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about it, Steiny, is I would be more concerned about those long drives. People told me when L.A. won the time of possession, the Rams, a couple weeks ago, it was because Stafford was getting rid of the ball. But you know what? If we're looking at maybe just a little slippage from the Niner D, because there's no doubt the offense is ahead of the defense, that's fine because they are so ferocious on offense.